Jimbo's Garage.
The HTP Revolution 2500, the first true all-in-one dual voltage multi-purpose welding machine. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to Jimbo's Garage. Well, today we're going to be talking about the brand new HTP 2500. I blew it right out of the start. Today we're going to be taking a close look at the brand new HTP Revolution 2500, the first all-in-one multi-purpose welding machine. We're going to be talking about some of the features, and then we're actually going to go to the front panel and we're going to be looking at the processes and going through the display. And I'll show you how that works and how simple it is, and then we're actually going to do some demonstration welds in all three processes as well. First thing I want to talk about is this being a dual voltage machine. This operates off of 220 or 110, and it's primarily wired for 220. That would be the preferred process to get your maximum amperage at 250 amps. But if you didn't have 220, let's say you took this someplace and you're doing some work and you didn't have 220 power there and you only had 110, that's where this adapter comes in, and this comes with the machine. You simply plug your 220 into this, and now this goes into the wall and it becomes 110. What you might want to know though is you're only going to get half of the amps, approximately 125 amps on 110, which is going to allow you to weld about 1/8 inch thick material or less in all three processes. That's light duty welding, but nevertheless you're going to get it done. The next thing I want to talk about is the gas ports on the back of the machine. Let's go back there and take a look at that. All right, so in the back of the machine, you're going to see two ports for your gas. The bottom port is your MIG gas. This is what you're going to be using for your MIG, whether it be CO2, 75, 25, 90, 10, or whatever gas it is you're using for MIG. That would be going in the bottom port. The top port is going to be your argon for your TIG. You know, very convenient having two ports in the back of the machine to put both gases in there to keep you from changing bottles out for different processes. All right, so I've got the machine turned on right here, and then here's the face of the machine right here. You've got your dial over here for amps, your dial over here for voltage, and it also indicates that up here. And then here are your processes on this side right here, and you select that by the mode button. Stick, TIG, manual, MIG manual, MIG 2T, MIG 4T, and MIG 4TS. I'll go over that later. All right, back up to stick right here. We're going to start right there, and here's your home button, and you have options of manual and easy set. Manual, you arrow over, it is standard. There's your pulse setting right there. If you want pulse, you arrow down to that. Once you get a green light over here, you push that, and you're good to go. You can adjust your amps accordingly by the knob right up here to whatever metal thickness or whatever you're using. You can select those amps. All right, now we want to pulse. We go right down to, or I should just say there's another setting here. This is easy set. Let's just say you come over, it's standard, and now you can select your rod type, 6011, 7018, 6013. 7018 is pretty standard. I think most people use that right there. But if you do use the 6011 or 6010 maybe even, you might be able to arrow this down to select that by pushing this button right here. But I like it on the 7018. You arrow over, it gives you your rod diameter size, 330 seconds, 1/8, 530 seconds. I got the green light there, and we're ready to go, adjusting your amps to wherever you need to go. All right, for pulse, we're going to go up to manual, go over, arrow down to pulse. You got the green light, and you're okay to go. To set your pulses per second, you can go right here. I have it at 2. It goes from 0.4 up to 5 pulses per second, and I like it right at about 2 pulses a second. That works out really good. Back to the home, and then there you're ready to go with your pulse stick. All right, down to the TIG mode right here. We are on 2 TIG, high frequency. Your start amps are 15. You're on 2T. We're on DC. We arrow over. I've got it set up on pulse. You can go up to standard. High frequency, you've got a green light, and you're ready to go on DC standard. DC pulse, arrow over, DC, arrow over, go down pulse. High frequency, green arrow, you're ready to go. And if you want to set your pulses per second, you can make that adjustment right here. I like it at 2, and then you're ready to go. Back over here to 2T, over, we'll go AC, AC square, triangular, and square pulse. That's where you're going to select your pulse. Square wave, over, high frequency, green arrow, you're ready to go. Back to the home, 2T, AC, AC square pulse, green light, you're ready to go. You want to select your pulses per second. You also have your balance here and your pulses per second settings right there. Back to the home page, and you are ready to roll in TIG, AC, DC, pulse, and not pulse. Manual MIG. Manual MIG is you set your own inches per minute and your own volts by the dials up here based on the metal thickness that you're using. Sometimes in Synergic MIG, they preset it for you, and if you don't like that, this is manual. You can set your own inches per minute, your own voltage, whatever you like. Going down to MIG in the 2T, this is Synergic setting. This is Synergic MIG, Pulse MIG, double pulse. We'll get into that. Right now it's standard, carbon steel, stainless steel, aluminum, special, whatever else you like. Your gas is a C25 or CO, or just regular CO2. You got your wire thickness here, 24,000, 30,000, 35,000, whatever you like. Green arrow, you're ready to go. All right, back over here, you want to go pulse. It's easy, you just bump down to pulse, arrow over, carbon steel, green arrow, you're ready to go and pulse. Double pulse, down, over, same thing, green arrow, you're ready to go and double pulse. If you want to change your settings, you can do that as well. All right, back up to Synergic MIG. I'm going to go over, carbon steel, green arrow, and now I'm out of pulse. MIG on the 4T, that is, if you have a long weld, you're doing long welds, this is where you can set it here, pull the trigger and release it, and the wire will continually roll out until you pull and release the trigger again. So if you got a long weld and you just want to hold that trigger in, you just pull it and release it, and that wire will come out of there until you pull and release that trigger again. That is on the MIG 4T. MIG 4S, 4TS, this allows you to adjust your start speed, your hot start, your slope, downtime, all that stuff can be adjusted in this mode right here. All right, well, there is a quick rundown on how it all works. Now let's do a little bit of welding and just see how well this all works. All right, so here's the bottom face of the machine right here, and I just wanted to go over a couple of things right here. This port right here, you can see the symbol right there, that is your stick lead, your TIG lead, and this indicates a spool gun. So you would connect all 3 of these into this if you want to use it. This is your ground clamp, it is here and hooked up. This is your foot pedal, it's hooked up, and this will be your gas for your TIG right here, okay? And then if you're using stick, you plug in your stick right there, and then of course the MIG is already always hooked up. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is some stick. So I have my stick connector right here. I'm just gonna go ahead and stick that in and crank it down, and my ground clamp is on, so we're ready to go. Okay, we're on standard MIG right here. This is some 1/4" material right here, and I'm just using a 7018. And then let's just see how this works. About 120 amps. Let's see how this works. All right. That looks pretty good there. All right, that works really good. Nice smooth buttery arc right there, and that went in there really nice and smooth. Now let's switch over to the pulse. Now the advantages of pulse is, let's just say you've got some super thin material. In this case, we're going to be using some 1/16 of an inch. This stuff here is just super thin, and it's vulnerable to burn through, especially on stick welding. So you can set the pulse on this, and it'll pulse and every 2 seconds, and it'll slow that heat down so you're not putting so much heat into it, and allow you to actually get probably a pretty decent weld on that 1/16 of an inch material. Or if you're bridging something, let's say you've got a big gap to fill, pulse would be a good way to go to fill that gap. You can build up material in there or bridge over. Anyways, there's several different ways of using it. Let me switch over to the pulse, and then we'll weld this super thin material. I'll show you what that's like. 1/16 of an inch thick material right here, super thin. This is one way that the pulse comes in. 2 pulses a second. Well, I was kind of hoping that you could hear and actually see the pulsing going on right there. And you can see that this looks like it's probably going to be a pretty decent. You can see that went in there really nice. No burn through. 1/16 of an inch thick. And on pulse, that's pretty cool. That works out pretty good. All right, let's move on to the TIG. All right, so I wanted to point out how easy it is to change from stick to TIG. Basically, undoing your stick lead and plugging in your TIG torch. Your gas is already hooked up. Fairly simple. All right, we were on stick. Now we're doing TIG. Simple as that. Push a button. We're already on DC, TIG, 129 amps, 15 start amps. We're ready to roll. All right, here we go. This is going to be just standard DC TIG, 1/8 inch thick material right here. I'm using a 250 amp heavy hitters torch, and I've got some 309L 3/32 filler wire, just because that's what I happen to have on hand. I'm operating on about 130 amps. I'll control it with the foot pedal. Let's see how it does. All right, there's that. That went in there pretty clean, pretty smooth. Now we can jump up to some pulse right here. I'll change that setting and we'll go ahead and try some pulse. All right, I've got it set 2 pulses a second, and I've turned up the amperage to about 150 amps. Every time you use pulse, you need to increase the amperage because you're putting less heat in and it needs more amps to operate. So we'll try 150 amps on this 1/8 inch thick material. Maybe that's enough, and we'll give it a try. All right, there it is in the pulse mode, 150 amps. That seemed to be okay. And as you can see, everything is working nice and smooth, and it's a good job. All right, let's try some aluminum. All right, this is 1/8 inch thick material right here. This is just going to be AC. And I've got it standard manual, no pulse on this one right here. I've got it set at 160 amps. We'll try that. I'm operating up the foot pedal. I can increase or decrease if I want. So let's just see how this works. All right, that wasn't too bad. That went in there pretty good. And now we'll switch over to pulse and see how that works. All right, I got it set at pulse. I've got it set at 200 amps. I'll control the pedal as I need it at 2 pulses a second. And let's see how that works. All right, that was pretty good. 2 pulses a second. Standard and pulse. Nice, works really good. All right, let's switch over to MIG. All right, switching from TIG to MIG. 1 push of the button. All right, we've got some 1/8 inch material, 125 wall thickness here. I've got it set at Synergic MIG, and it's automatically telling me about 270 inches a minute for this 125 wall thickness here. So we'll see how it works. All right, well that went in there pretty smooth. I guess they've got their settings right on that. Let's switch over to single pulse and see how that works. All right, single pulse. Let's give it a try. All right, that went in there pretty smooth. Let's give double pulse a try. All right, double pulse. This stuff's pretty fun. All right, there's double pulse. You can definitely hear that action. You can see a little bit of difference in that bead profile there. That all worked out pretty good. So if you look at this, you got double pulse, single pulse, regular pulse. All of them work really nice. All right, let's go through some of these welds right here. So this is the first one. This is just regular standard arc welding right here. This is the first one we did. You can see that's a nice smooth buttery arc. Everything worked really nice there. The next thing we did was the try to get you in the frame right here. Was the pulse stick, and you can see that this is 1/16 of an inch material, really thin. You can see that laid in there pretty good. No burn through, didn't burn through anything. So if you're welding some, if you're stick welding some real thin material, that worked out pretty good right there. All right, next up, we used the TIG, and this is just manual TIG right here. This one right here, manual TIG. This one right here is pulse, and you can see this is mild steel, carbon steel, and you can see it welds nice and clean and true. I'm pretty happy there. The next step was aluminum. Try to get you in the frame right here. There we go. The first one right here was just regular aluminum AC, and that worked out pretty good there. Then this was pulse over here, and also turned out fairly nice. There's a place for pulse in all processes. It's not something you're going to use every day, but when you need it, and it's nice to have all in one machine, that's for sure. All right, very last was the MIG right here. And this one right here, let me try to get you in the picture here. This right here was standard MIG, just regular. This was pulse right here, and then this was double pulse. Again, all 3 processes, everything works really good in all processes, and nice clean welds. I'm pretty happy with that. All right, there's a quick little rundown of the brand new HTP Revolution 2500. I gotta say, I got a lot of HTP equipment right here and a lot of welding machines, and they're all very good, but they really knocked it out of the park with this one right here. This is an all-in-one machine, and I mean literally all-in-one. It has everything in one machine, everything you'd ever need, and all processes work out really good. If you're interested in this machine or any other HTP products, I'll put a link in the description below. Thanks for watching. See you guys on the next video.
See you next time on Jimbo's Garage.